This is Gene Monterastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 253, originally aired January 12th, 2016. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about resolutions, ending last year, beginning this year. And as we think about resolutions, an issue that came up for me very, very recently, the way that we think about our bodies. And we're going to do some tapping for our relationship with our physical bodies, especially when it isn't the best relationship. So as we ended last year and we began this year, podcast episode 251, which was in December, and 252, which was the first week of January, were about letting go of the things that were no longer useful and setting the tone and setting the table for moving into the next year. Both of those podcasts have been super well received. I've gotten more emails and comments on the websites about those two episodes than things I've dealt with in a really long time. So I would encourage you to dive in and use those resources. Other folks have said they're really, really good. I have a feeling you're going to find them useful as well. The podcast from last week, episode 252, was about how do we set up the year to put ourselves in a good position to take action. How do we move forward to be effective? And if you listen carefully inside of the tap along, there's 4 sections to it. We spend a little time trying to figure out and create space so that we can create a vision. We spend time tapping to create space so that we can learn new things and step into new places so we can move forward. We do some tapping around taking action and the struggle we oftentimes have taking action. And we spend some time with what happens when we have success and what are the emotional blocks that come along with having success. And those 4 areas are kind of the underlying principles, the thesis to all of the work that I do for transformation. And for me, it's, we don't take action because we don't have a clear vision. We don't know how to do it. It's painful to take action or it's painful to be successful. And to kick off the new year, what I've done is I've actually created a 6-week class, which is a 5-week class plus a bonus week, where what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you and tap with you through all of those things. The first week, I'm going to teach you my 5 favorite tapping tools. Simply knowing how to tap is great, but there are particular tools and ways that we can apply tapping that are more effective based on the type of issue that we're dealing with in that particular moment. And so in the first week, I'm going to go through all of that. In weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5, I'm going to go through those 4 areas: creating vision and the emotional blocks for creating vision. Knowing how to do something and the emotional blocks of us not being able to learn or being afraid to learn. In the 4th class, which is the 3rd step of this, we'll talk about the emotional blocks that show up when it's dangerous for us to take action. I'm acting in a new way. The people around me are going to judge me. And then finally, the emotional blocks around us being successful. Because sometimes when we get successful, we're afraid that we're going to be judged. We're afraid that we're going to be judged if we lose that success. And so each of the 5 weeks, we're going to position you to move forward, to step into 2017 in a way where you're taking action. And so I've written up a whole bunch of information about the class because in addition to those 5 classes, there's 3 bonus calls on top of it, which brings us to a grand total of 8. And there's a bunch of other bonuses that I'm throwing in, including your opportunity to tap with me one-on-one, including all of the tapping that we do in the classes. I'm going to have transcribed, so you will also have tapping scripts to take away from the class. To get the full details on the class and to read some really interesting information about when we give up our New Year's resolutions and the fatty solstice, which I think is a very fun term, just go to tappingqna.com/class. That's tappingqna.com/class. You will find all of the information on the class, how you can sign up. And if you have any questions, please drop me a note, Gene, Gene, at tappingqna.com. We already have a whole bunch of people signed up for the class. The more the merrier, because when I am tapping with someone in the class who isn't you, you're going to get the opportunity to learn a lot about your issues and your struggles, because when we hear other people vocalizing them, we're going to go, oh yeah, that is something that's holding me back. So it's going to give you a chance to just step into 2017 and take some really amazing action to transform your life in a way that's going to make the most sense for you. Again, tappingqna.com/class, CLASS, or if you're listening to this in a mobile device, if you click on a link at the top of the show notes, you will go directly to the information about the class and how you too can sign up for that class. So the class itself is built around taking new actions, seeing ourselves in new ways. And one of the things, like many people at the beginning of this new year, I'm in a position where I would like to transform my physical body. I'm probably 13 or 14 pounds over the weight that I would like to be. I'm not obese by any stretch of the imaginations. And if you saw me, particularly the way that I dress, I'm very good about dressing in a way that makes me look good. You wouldn't know that I might be a little bit overweight. But when I look in my full-length mirror, and yes, I have a full-length mirror in my bedroom, unlike most men, I definitely notice the way that I look. And I definitely notice the parts of my physical body that I'm not super thrilled with. In addition to dealing with the way that my body looks, there are times that I am very frustrated with what it feels like my body is letting me down, where I don't have the energy to do the things that I want to do. I spent a good chunk of December fighting off a little bit of a cold and a flu that just lingered for a little bit until I really started tapping for it. And so it's really easy for us to feel like it is a battle with our body, that it is us mentally against us physically. And there are these forces that are grinding against each other. And the reality is it's all one system. And the physical and mental distinction is something that is tangible, but it's also, where does one end and the other part begin? That line is hard to draw because we are a single being, a single creature. And in reality, our physical body is always acting in a way that it thinks is the healthiest. Now, it might not actually be the healthiest. It might be overfunctioning. It might be working from misinformation, but it truly is moving from that place. And when I'm in a position where I'm really frustrated with my physical body, or I'm frustrated with my physical health, I've found that if I spend a little time each morning tapping around the ideas of recognizing my body for what it is, recognizing how hard it's working, and giving it what it needs, I find that I feel better physically. I make better choices throughout the day about what I eat and how I exercise, and I'm in a much better mood. And I'm sure there is a correlation between those two things, that when I'm in a better mood, I feel better, and when I feel better, I'm in a better mood. And so for the last week or so, in earnest, each morning I've been tapping to just take care of and love and appreciate my physical body and recognize all the work that it's doing. So today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share that tapping with you so we can step into it and really appreciate it. If you go to the website, you will find a printed out version of this script, tappingqnapodcast.com. Click on the link for episode 253. If you happen to be listening to this in the website, it's located directly below the player. And if you have the Tapping Q&A app, which you can also download at tappingqnapodcast.com, if you click on the text section across the top, T-E-X-T, that's hard to say, text section, you will find this tapping script right inside of the app, as well as many of the other tapping scripts from the audios that I've added recently. And over the course of the next few weeks, I'm going to just keep adding more and more from the library. So what I want you to do, take a nice big deep breath for me. Take another nice big deep breath. And while you're taking a nice third deep breath, I want you to tap on the side of your hand on that karate chop point. And now we're just going to move from tapping point to tapping point, and all I need you to do is just simply repeat after me. I recognize the fact that I am connected to my physical body, that it is a part of me, and in some ways it is me. And there are times in which I feel like I am fighting my body. in which I feel like my body is fighting me. It is as if my body is letting me down, or even intentionally trying to hurt me, or intentionally trying to make my life more difficult. And this feeling of frustration and this feeling of betrayal comes from a place of simply wanting better. Comes from a place of wanting to be healthier. Comes from a place of wanting to be stronger. Comes from a place of wanting to look at my body and love what I am seeing. I appreciate the frustration because it wants something better for me. I appreciate my body's desire for me to be healthier, for me to be stronger, for me to look good. Even inside of this frustration, I know my body is an amazing thing. Trillions and trillions of cells working in community. Keeping me healthy moment to moment. Moving through the world. Allowing me to experience what is around me. And there is so much that I don't have to think about. I don't have to think about breathing. I don't have to think about my heart beating. I don't have to think about my food digesting. I just move through the world. And I love and appreciate that my body is doing all of this. I know in each moment, my body is trying to do what is best for me. I know in each moment, my body is trying to do what is healthiest for me. Even if it isn't making the healthiest choice. It is motivated by health and well-being. And I can appreciate that fact. Because I can appreciate that sometimes my body is misinformed, I give my body permission to ask for what it needs. I give my system permission to do what it needs to do to keep me healthy. I give my body permission to state its needs. Because it is not some foreign object asking, It is me. I am it. There is no separation between my mind and body. There is no separation between my desires and what my body is doing. They feel disconnected. They feel incongruent. But I give them permission to grow and heal together as one. Because they actually are one. I give my system permission to move forward in a way that is best for all parts of me. I give myself permission to love my body because I am my body. Nice big deep breath. This is one of those tappings which I think it would probably be a really good idea, as I just think through what we've tapped through, to have a piece of paper and pen nearby as different phrases trigger things, as different issues show up. Because I have a feeling that they were parts of this tapping that washed over you as if I wasn't saying anything at all. And there were other parts that just stung and rung true, that really pushed a button, that really triggered something emotionally. And it could be as simple as just taking this audio and going back and working your way through it again and again to keep releasing it. Or it could be going after one of those tools, those issues specifically, with a tool that works for you. So let me know how that goes for you. I find tapping like this every single morning very, very helpful. You don't have to do it every single day, but each time you do it, you're going to make it easier to be comfortable physically inside of your own skin. If you are looking for more assistance in being able to make this sort of transformation, be it around your physical body, the choices that you make moving forward in 2017, I would love it if you join the class that I'm going to start running here in about a week and a half. You can get all of the details by going to tappingqanda.com/class. That's tappingqanda.com/class. And if you look at the schedule and you see that you might not be able to make all of the classes, everything's going to be recorded. You're going to have opportunities to chime in, get your issues tapped for, even if you can't be on all of the calls. I would love to have you join me. If you have questions about the class, please drop me a note. Gene, Gene, at tappingqanda.com. If you're listening in the website, there's a contact link up above. If you're listening inside of the app, just click on the menu, click on contact, and you can send me an email from right inside of there. If you found today's tapping useful, please pass it along to a friend. Don't spam your inbox and send it to everybody in the world, but there might be a person or two who could really use something like this. I would really appreciate it. The better we have people feeling about themselves, the better the world is going to be. The small incremental choices that we make inside of our own lives are the ones that are going to make a huge difference as we move forward. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the podcast in iTunes, in Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeart Music Radio, the Google Music Play Store. We are still the #1 EFT podcast in the Google Music Play Store because we are still the only EFT podcast in the Google Play Store. If you are one of those places, leave us a rating, leave us a review. If you have a question, a comment, or just a topic you'd like to see covered in the future, you can contact me as well, Gene at tappingqanda.com. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Monterastelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Monterastelli, Tapping Q&A 2016. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Monterastelli or Tapping Q&A.